Hey, how you doing? This is Adam Post. An elite liberal arts college called Amherst has destroyed their culture because they admitted people based on merit. From the New York Times, with black enrollment down, Amherst College faces an identity crisis. Amherst was in the past tense, for its diverse student population. Now it's trying to save that legacy without violating the law. Well, you could just, admit people that are qualified to the institution and let people know that when they get a degree here that they've earned their place. I understand that it might change the makeup of the students for 1 year or another year, but what's the point in getting a degree from a college and not getting the degree based on merit? Because this extends to grading as well. People aren't treated the same. So any piece of paper or certification that said, I went here and I achieved something, either means something or it means nothing. One of the nation's most elite liberal arts schools, Amherst College, has historically also been one of its most diverse. What really makes a college elite if people aren't there based on their ability? In 2023, federal data revealed that overall black enrollment, 11% of the student body, far outstripped many other similar institutions. So it was particularly shocking to the Amherst community last fall when data for the entering freshman class revealed that only 3% of its members were black. But 100% of its members were qualified. Does that not mean something to you people? No, not really. Quincy Smith, an art major, joined one of the most diverse classes in Amherst history in 2022 and said gatherings of black students feel different now. Quote, there's less engagement, fewer people coming to our meetings and going to events. Going to specific college events? Specific college meetings? No, he's talking about specifically race-based meetings. Well, you don't need that in life. It's great to have an affinity group, but you want to also be able to socialize with the rest of the world. At Amherst, a college of about 1,900 undergraduates in central Massachusetts, students and administrators alike are now uneasy as the idea of diversity, one of the school's core values, is increasingly under attack by conservatives in Washington. Across the country, highly selective universities and their students were already trying to reckon with the demographic shifts caused by the landmark Supreme Court ruling in 2023 when the court banned the use of racial preferences in college admissions, making it fair for everyone to go to a school. Some schools saw only minor changes in their enrollment makeup, according to analysis of the New York Times. And that's because they found some ways to try to work around the Supreme Court, and some of them are still cheating, and they're also being threatened with lawsuits. The battle still continues to just have a fair playing field for everybody getting into college. But at other schools, including Amherst, black and Hispanic enrollment declined sharply last fall, the first class affected by the new ruling, with Amherst experiencing one of the steepest drops. Hispanic enrollment in Amherst's freshman class dropped to 8% last fall, compared with 12% a year earlier. The Trump administration is trying to use that Supreme Court case to increase the pressure on universities to eliminate diversity efforts, because they're not legal the way you're doing it. The administration is promising to punish schools it believes might be circumventing the decision, such as the ones that are circumventing the decision. The moves have added to the tension at schools like Amherst as they try to avoid legal challenges, but also face faculty, students, and alumni urging their school to fight back. Conservatives and normal people argue diversity efforts meant to boost black, Hispanic, and other groups have resulted in discrimination against Asian and white students, the contention that formed the crux of the Supreme Court case, which they were found to be right in. Quote, eliminating racial discrimination means eliminating all of it, the Supreme Court said in its decision. Despite the decision, Michael Elliott, Amherst president, said the school's 200-year mission, which emphasizes educating students from all backgrounds, has not changed. Any and all students of every skin color, sexual preference, religion, you name it, can go to this school or go to any school, but you just have to get in based on merit. You can't invite literally everyone into the school. It's only one school. It only has a certain number of spots. It only has a certain number of resources. And sure, everyone deserves a chance to apply if that's what they want to do. But not everyone deserves a spot. That's inconceivable. Amherst was one of the first highly selective colleges to eliminate legacy preferences, which tend to favor white students. Legacy preferences giving you an opportunity to go to the school if you're a potential student and your family have gone there before. It was also the lead author of a brief in the Supreme Court case arguing for the educational benefits of a diverse student body and the societal benefits of educating diverse future leaders. Educate everyone. Just make sure they can actually qualify to get into the school first. We don't need incompetent leaders, regardless of their skin colors. In the brief, Amherst argued that eliminating race-conscious admissions would have a drastic resegregating impact and predicted it would lose about half of its enrollment of Native American, Black, and Hispanic students. Since that prediction largely came true, many at Amherst are concerned that fewer Black and Hispanic students on campus will make it less attractive to those groups, prompting a cycle of further declines. A freshman from Washington Heights in Manhattan said she was the only Black student in a required first-year seminar last fall, and one of only 2 Black students in her chemistry class. Quote, "It didn't feel like I was welcome because I didn't really see students who looked like me," she said, adding, "I can't really talk about it without getting upset." People have been brainwashed to see, like, if you don't have the same race as someone else, then you're not welcome somewhere. You could let people know everywhere that they are welcome because they're part of this class. They're part of their own new community. You're supposed to make connections and contacts and network and create this new expanded community when you go to an institution like this. It's really part of the reason for going to college. Bryce Dawkins, a senior from Oakland, California, majoring in English and Black studies, said that diversity attracted her to Amherst. Quote, "When I was applying to college, I was looking at Amherst particularly because the number of Black students was so high," she said. I mean, some people actually go to college to get an education they can use to then leverage that experience and their connections and their degree for a really successful, productive life in the future. Not just so you can play around with people who are of your same race, who maybe even have the same ideas as you. That's the whole concept of diversity, or at least it was supposed to be. Different people, different ideas in the same common situation, learning new things. During a book talk on campus in October, one of Amherst's notable Black alumni, the professor and writer Anthony Abram Jack, said he felt a deep sadness over the changes. Quote, "I just can't tell you how hard of a walk it was when the numbers came out," said Dr. Jack, a 2007 graduate who teaches today at Boston University and grew up in a low-income household in Miami. Quote, "The place that changed my life and the place that I love, probably more than any other, is hurting." Okay, but how do you think other people feel who actually had the right and should have had an opportunity to go to this school and better themselves and make connections that were kept out because they were Asian or white, or they weren't the right sexual preference or the right religion that they're looking for? Concern about the numbers frequently come up in faculty meetings and alumni gatherings at the Charles Drew House, a dorm for Black students named for the pioneering Black physician, and at the Multicultural Resource Center, a gathering place for students of color. The campus newspaper, the Amherst Student, described diversity as the ever-present backdrop during a visit by 130 prospective students last fall. Since its freshman class demographics were disclosed, Amherst has been working to reverse the decline in Black and Hispanic students while still complying with the law. When international students are included, this year's freshman class was 9% Black, but that number declined from 19% last year. Colleges are no longer allowed to ask applicants about their race after the Supreme Court decision, so highly selective schools are seeking students who are the first to attend college in their family, visiting communities in rural areas and expanding financial aid for low-income students. Which brings us to this story. When I first looked at it, I'm like, what is he, gay? We can't tell? From the Associated Press, a crackdown on diversity programs is reshaping college graduation ceremonies. So here's this guy. He's clearly a white guy. What's his issue? As a first-generation college student, Austin Kissinger was looking forward to celebrating graduation with others of similar backgrounds who helped each other find their way at the University of Kentucky. Typically, Kentucky students who are first in their family to graduate from college pick a faculty member to join them in a special ceremony. Earlier this month, the university canceled the ceremony, along with other convocations that recognize Black and LGBT students, citing the Trump administration's campaign to rein in diversity, equity, and inclusion programs. So he's not gay, he's a white guy, he graduated college, but he didn't get his special ceremony. Since he's the first to graduate in his family, he would have beaten the system at Amherst as well. Amherst added 4 people to its recruitment team who traveled a broad swath of the country to find students who might help the school yield a more diverse class. This is so ridiculous. Georgia, Alabama, and Mississippi were on the list. So was Texas's Rio Grande Valley. On March 21st, Amherst announced that it had offered admission to 1,175 students. 96 are from rural regions, an increase of 37 from last year. Amherst said it did not have a racial breakdown for the newly admitted students, but Matthew McGann, Amherst Dean of Admission and Financial Aid, said that a quarter of the students would be the first in their family to attend college, a school record. Boy, they're going to be disappointed when they see more kids like this guy. Dr. Elliott said he believed that more than one factor was at play in last year's demographic shift, and pointed out that the school's small size amplifies percentage changes. And he's optimistic about the incoming class. Quote, "We're really encouraged by what we see so far," he said. Applicants must accept by May 1st, and it's hard to say how many will say yes. Many schools, including those in the Ivy League, are competing for the best and brightest students from racial minority groups. Quote, "The largest number of students who say no to Amherst end up in New Haven at Yale and other places like that," McGann said in an interview. He acknowledged that there were also declines in the number of black students offered admission last year, adding that 1 year is not enough to suggest a trend. Dr. Jack said he believed that Amherst may have been more careful than many other schools in using measures, such as high school grades, to select its class. Quote, "It felt like there was a conversation about trying not to get sued," said Dr. Jack, a professor of higher education leadership. You would think they might have a conversation about trying to just treat students respectfully and with dignity. But because they don't even consider something like that, even in any kind of conversation, you need to have these lawsuits, you need to sue these schools, and wake them up out of this nonsense. Conservatives and normal people have only intensified their scrutiny of schools in recent weeks. The Justice Department announced last month it would investigate admissions policies at 4 California universities. And Edward Blum, an activist who is the driving force behind the lawsuit that led to the Supreme Court case, has said he's examining school data for evidence of cheating. Blum has said that the effort to end affirmative action is inspired by the work of Martin Luther King Jr., arguing that, quote, "an individual's race and ethnicity should not be used to help them or harm them in their life's endeavors." In an interview, Jeffrey Wright, the Amherst alum and actor who starred in the 2023 film American Fiction, a satire on how the publishing industry stereotypes race, characterizes Mr. Blum's reference to Dr. King as the most egregiously cynical thing that I've heard in a long time. Mr. Wright, who was recently on Amherst campus speaking at a literary event, sees Mr. Blum's work as part of a movement to roll back civil rights reminiscent of the Jim Crow era, because if you treat people equally, of course that's a race crime. In recent months, Amherst leaders have held a flurry of meetings with campus constituencies, trying to reassure them that they're working to prevent resegregation. I might be missing something from history, but first of all, they're trying to have no segregation. They don't want resegregation, but they were having segregated college ceremonies based on race and based on sexual preferences. So that kind of is segregation. Additionally, segregation was based on discriminating based on race, not based on people's ability in the first place. There were no fair standards for everyone to participate equally in society. That's what these people are trying to bring back, if we let them do it. After attending one such meeting with the Black Student Union, a senior from New Jersey and former officer of the group said he remained skeptical. Quote, "They had a choice between prizing diversity and playing it safe. They chose to play it safe," he said. What do you mean play it safe? They're supposed to break the law? Yes, they're supposed to break the law, openly segregate, openly prefer certain races over other races, and dehumanize future prospective students. That's what they want. Let me know what you think of all this in the comments below. Always love to see your ideas. Please be sure you are subscribed to the channel. Click the bell for notifications, give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you again soon with another story. And if I don't see you, I will miss you.